Always.
I like the fits.
You can see the time.
Check your receipt. Check your receipt. What just happened?
Not a hop on, not a hop off, and you can't stand up. Things hang low, traffic lights, trees, they could hit your head, they could hit my head. If something's gonna hit my head, please yell. So we start in Times Square, we end in Times Square. Times Square is named after the New York Times. The New York Times in 1904 opened the new building. It's the one straight ahead in the middle with the Budweiser sign, the Chevrolet sign, the Toshiba screen. January 1st, 1904, the New York Times throws a big celebration to celebrate the new year and their new building. It starts a tradition. That is where the ball drops from. You can see the pole above the Toshiba screen. Every year on New Year's, 1 million people fill the streets. Times Square full of big stores, big restaurants, Fraser Megastore, Planet Hollywood on the left, Toys R Us on the left, the world's largest toy store with a 60-foot Ferris wheel inside, MTV Studios on the right, closed down mostly, in the big theaters, we have big stores, big restaurants. Again, this building on the left is where the ball drops from. Nothing in this building today. It is full of wires that runs off the revenue of these big signs. So 41st Street here, how many empty seats do we have? Raise your hand if there's an empty seat next to it. But to tell you the truth, most New Yorkers try to avoid Times Square. For a long time, the first half of the 20th century had immigrants leaving over sewing machines. So fashion on 7th Avenue, but fashion also on 6th. This is where the fashion show happens every year. Right now, it is Fashion Week is tense. Fashion happening inside. People at E! Entertainment Network know what I'm talking about. Bryant Park, beautiful park on top of it. Sit in the shade, have coffee. Underneath the books. Lots of books. Bryant Park is behind the New York Public Library main branch. This is the second largest library in the country. Only the Library of Congress is bigger. Oh, okay, yeah. Where are you from, sir? Minnesota. So you knew who he was, right? Yellow, US Open. Tallest building in the world was 1941. Remained so until the world's later. 1,472 feet to the top, under 11 months. I don't know what to guess. No unions. No overtime laws, not many health and safety standards, and it's the Great Depression. A lot of people are very happy to have a job, not questioning their bosses, working very hard, able to put it up in under 11 months. Empire State Building, we do pass it again on the way back, so we can take it by now or in an hour and a half. Prefabrication, great answer. Nobody ever gets that on my bus. I'm very impressed. Where are you from? Alabama. On top, that's the New York Life Insurance Building. Flatiron again in front of us, tallest building in the world when it was finished in 1902, even though it's only 23 stories high. Always wind here. The reason is that the triangular shape of the Flatiron building creates a wind tunnel. When the building, someone said wow for a wind tunnel. Very impressed. Might come in handy one day. So we go on 14th Street. 14th Street, widest point of Manhattan Island. Still only 2.3 miles wide. 14th Street is where Macy's opened 150 years ago. Macy's, the world's largest department store, also the world's oldest. It opened on the left where you have the broken yellow awning. It would have been possible if it wasn't for the subways. The subways opened in 1904. That is the New York City Street Orchestra. New York City Street Orchestra always at work, going around playing music for tourists. Also big in New York, hot dogs. You guys think that New York is expensive? Look in front of you on the left, Papaya King, home of the recession special. 2 hot dogs and a fresh papaya drink, $4. Can't beat that. Papaya juice, very healthy for you. It's a natural digestive. Hot dogs, not so healthy. A natural indigestive. On our left, we're passing St. Vincent's Hospital. Survivors of the Titanic were brought to St. Vincent's. Survivors of the September 11th attacks were also brought to St. Vincent's. Tiles for America. These are hand-painted tiles done by New York City school children in remembrance of the victims of the attacks. There we go on the right. Why that display on that fence? If you guys remember, after the attacks, New Yorkers, with a glimmer of hope that they would find their missing loved ones, put up missing posters across the city. The most logical place to put up a missing poster on the fence in front of the hospital where survivors were brought to. Over the rest of the attacks, the missing posters became remembrance posters. The people who live here now, no longer struggling artists, no longer trying to find themselves. They have already found themselves, mostly in finance or corporate law, perhaps in their parents' trust funds. On the left, another hot dog and papaya juice place. This is the most famous of them all. There's a few of them around. Hot dogs and papaya juice, 2 things that just go together. Everybody knows that. On your right side, we're gonna pass Domino's Pizza. Don't go there. It's probably 1 of 4 in Manhattan. No. Eat New York pizza in New York, made by New Yorkers. Thin crust, crispy. Wait till you go home to eat Domino's. So at least I ask you. This is Broadway in front of us. Broadway sneaks around Manhattan. It starts out west of 10th Avenue. Here it's east of what would be like 4th Avenue. It defies the grid system. It's the oldest street. It's an original Algonquin trail. So we are getting into the neighborhood known as NoHo. NoHo stands for north of Houston, the neighborhood south of your Soho, south of Houston. NoHo, a big neighborhood for buying sneakers these days. Or as you guys call them in England, trainers, or as you call them in Australia, runners, or as you call them in Minnesota, tennis shoes. Whatever you call them, this is your destination to get them. Notice I say Houston Street, not Houston Street. Houston, Texas, named after the General Sam Houston. Houston Street. named after one of the original signers of the Constitution. China for the White House. Don't breathe in these fumes. No, just me, but it's probably not a good idea to do that. I was hanging out here in 1994. Even then, I was the coolest kid on the bus. You can tell the coolest kid, he's the one with the microphone always, except in karaoke. Then you're not too cool. Of course, I dated a girl from Whitlow. Karen, if you see her, tell her I say hello. Tell her I've changed. No, I'm joking. I haven't changed. If you want to come here, it's best to come here Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. They close down the streets. It's like a street festival every weekend. I believe we're getting into San Janeiro festival time. Lots of food. You want to have your cameras ready as we cross Mulberry Street. That is the street of Little Italy. So there you go. Little Italy. Not much of an ethnic neighborhood these days, to tell you the truth. What's up? They were on my tour yesterday. They're still really excited about it. You won't hear Italians smoking much on the street. You won't really see many Italian immigrants. But still, it's a great place to eat, a great place to hang out. The restaurants, the bakeries, the pastry shops, the pork shops, the butcher shops, the cheese shops, the gelato places, the pizza places. These places are 80 years old, maybe they're 100 years old. They're third generation, they're fourth generation. It's extremely competitive there. It's extremely good eating. So we are in Chinatown. This is an authentic ethnic neighborhood. These Chinese characters on the awnings are not for entertainment. They are for real. Over 100,000 Chinese people live in Chinatown. In front of us on the right, you see where Canal Street ends. Canal Street is your destination for buying Coach bags, Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton bags, Rolexes, Oakley, sunglasses. You can buy them there, 1/5 the price, and if you're going to get them uptown, the only difference is they are fake. Manhattan Bridge in front of us will take you to Brooklyn. That's the gate. La Puerta de Alcalá enfrente. No, jugando. Manhattan Bridge. Canal Street ends here again. If you go there and buy the Coach bag, make sure the Coach bag goes up here. El momento más importante para estar control building. Charles building in the world in 1918. Next to it, you see a building in front of it with a golden angel on top. That building is the municipal building. It was Joseph Stalin's favorite building. The Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge is a beautiful bridge. They're only until October and they cost $15 million. Please take pictures.